what I want to mostly point out is just this pay gap dispute. I found this evidence in this article, and I'm just gonna quote what I see in it and like how it draws into the account of this pay discrepancy that they've been talking about. And it just says, especially from 2016 to 2018, the women's team brought $50.8 million in revenue, while the men's team brought 49.9 million, and that's a difference of at least that's less than 2% in the women's favor. Looking year by year, 2016 was actually the only year the women's generated more revenue than the men's. And we can just compare it, the game revenue, right? The women's generated 24.11 million compared to the 22.24 million from men. In 2017, both teams brought in the same amount of revenue at 14.61 million. And in 2018, the men's team actually brought 13 million compared to the women's $12.03 million. And like this is what I was trying to get at. Most of the time I've been seeing all these articles that they say that the women brought 50 million and the men only brought 49, and it's like less than 1% point whatever. But you could just see right here, each year, only 1 year the women brought more than the men. And then if you compare the years in 2014, 2015, the men's team actually brought 8.31 million and 11.71 million more than the women's team respectively. In those years, they don't want to be talking about them, And beyond the game revenue, US Soccer brings in money through marketing and sponsorships. This category accounts for about half of the total revenues in the recent years. Marketing and sponsorships, which includes sales of broadcast rights. It's hard to credit. It's hard to credit to either the men or the women because the transactions are made as a bundle and not separately each team. And this is what I just gotta say. Other parts in the article also said that basically game revenue is just a fourth of what the U.S. Federation wins or makes off its total revenues. And the dispute about the World Cup, like there's no dispute on that, because in the 2018 Men's World Cup, the prize money was $400 million compared to the $30 million for the Women's World Cup in 2019, giving a vast difference in total funds available to allocate. It's essentially guaranteed to the women that would end up with less prize money than the men, even though the women won the championship. And this is just what I gotta say. You could just see the numbers right there. I'll leave a link to this article so you can read it yourself. And that's what I'm saying. If you don't research these things, if you don't look at the numbers, the women basically just made more in 2016, which is fine. They made, what was it, like $2 million more than the men. And that's okay, But like they want to make these made up numbers that they be making more these past 3 years when they actually haven't. They made the same amount in 2017, and in 2018, the men actually won more than the women. But they want to put these amounts together and just say they have been making more. And the men didn't even qualify for the World Cup, so I don't even know why they complaining. Like, imagine if they did. They would have been making way more money, and this evidence wouldn't even have been brought. But they didn't, so this is what's being disputed. But like I said, I just see that it's not concrete, You can't be making up these false accusations. And Megan Rapinoe can continue with her life. She can continue to disrespect the flag, not be patriotic, not care about it. And you could just see right here in this picture, like, where is all those people that they say are giving all this money to the women's game? Like, all I see is about probably like 50 fans right there in this empty stadium. That's just what I gotta say. And she said it herself, just come to the NSL games, buy the jerseys, do this, buy whatever. But that can only be generated in a capitalist system. The socialist system where everybody's equal, I don't buy it, because it doesn't seem right to me, If I win 100,000 and you win 50,000, but we have to be equal, that means both of us would probably win 75,000 because I have to give up some of my revenue to give to you because you think that we should all be equal. But I feel like you should just give what you generate. And like I said, the revenues that they're talking about is just by matches being played is just a fourth of what the total federation gets, and that's not even counting the broadcast deals, the marketing, whatever, all those things because they're bundles. And they said that the NSL games are mostly just played on, or they're mostly just played or televised on YouTube, while the men's games are on the MLS are multi-millionaire deals with Fox and ESPN and other broadcasting things. But this is just all a dispute. This is all an agenda being brought up by the left to disregard the president and things like that. And I feel like you should just look more into it. People should not just be fooled by what the media tells you. You should research the things for yourself, and not everything is going to be all pretty sunshine and rainbows, you know. And I don't know. I look at the economics. I look at what both teams are generating. What's the money sense? Because most people don't look at those things. They just look at this little article and it says this and that. But I mean, I know this was an article that I also sustained, but it also went more in depth than all the articles all the ones that I was looking. Most of them just told me that in the 3-year span that they made more money than the men. But if we looked year by year, they only 1 year they made more than the men. And if we count for like all the other years, and the women, they're being obnoxious. I mean, I feel like the women's game is not up to par. They have a lot of development to do, and I've talked about this in other videos. You should probably watch them there. I don't feel that USA's women's soccer is going to be so dominant. In the next World Cup, a lot of countries will be catching up. And you could just see the history. Maybe I may make a history on women's soccer and just see how America's so dominant in this sport, or this side of sport of female athletes. But this is just basically all I got to say on the matter. It may not be to your pleasing. It may not be to your liking, but this is just what I gotta say. This is how I feel on the matter. But everybody's openly free to decide what they want to support, you know. So this is how I feel on the matter, and I just hope you subscribe to the channel and like this video. Maybe share it with people that may think opposite or whatever, and just see what they think for themselves and what they can formulate off this opinion of mine or off this evidence that I've shown. But this is all I gotta say, and I hope you like the video, and I hope you subscribe to the channel. Peace out.